Welcome to Daily Tanya. Today is Tuesday, the 12th day of Elul. And a reminder again to say the additional chapters in Tehillim. Today is 34, 35, 36, and you can find the link in the description. Let's begin with Tzedakah. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. So today we begin letter 13 in Igeret HaKodesh. This is another letter that the Alter Rebbe wrote about tzedakah, and we already learned that the letters that the Alter Rebbe writes to fundraising letters are really opportunities that we have, that the Alter Rebbe gives us the deeper insights in our souls, and we learn a lot of deep concepts in Judaism and Hasidus, and this letter is no different. In fact, the Alter Rebbe's sons who placed these letters in the Tanya, they didn't place the whole letter. They took out the part that the Alter Rebbe writes about the tzedakah and only left the part that teaches us about the two types of souls that we have. There's souls that comes from the right, and there are souls that comes from the left. And we're talking about basically that no two people are made the same. In general, we know every person God put in this world has a special mission. And the mission is related, as we learned earlier in the Tanya, it's related to the source of the soul. So the differences are many, many thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of different souls. But in general, it can be divided into different divisions. And here the Alter Rebbe talks about the division into two. Souls from the side of chesed, the kindness, and souls that are from the side of gevura, severity. And every person has their mission in life. And their mission in life is connected with the fact that their neshama comes from this level. There's the story of Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, when he was walking in the street and he sees a person who is ugly looking. And he made a comment. And he said, "How ugly is this person?" And he says to this person, "Maybe all these people in your city are ugly as you." And so he answers him, "I don't know. But why don't you go to the master that made me and tell him how ugly is the vessel that you made?" So Rabbi Elazar realized his big mistake. And he went off his donkey and he begged him for forgiveness. And he didn't forgive him. So he followed them all the way to the city. When they came to the city, all the people in the city greeted this great Rabbi Elazar. And this man says, "Who are you greeting? Who are you giving this honor to, this person?" And he told them what happened. And the people asked him, "Please forgive him." He said, "No." So they told him he's a great scholar and he teaches us Torah. Finally said, "For your sake, I will forgive him." The Rebbe explains that Rabbi Elazar, when he made this comment, how ugly this person is, obviously he wasn't that person. He wasn't the kind of person to go and be so humiliating and make such a terrible comment. He saw something deeper. He saw that this person, the ugliness was not a physical ugliness. It was something more deeper. It was something he saw in him, a character that is not okay, that is ugly. And yet the person told him, "Go to my maker and complain, look how ugly is the vessel that you made." And Rabbi Shimon realized that yes, this is Hashem makes people in different ways. People behave in different ways. It is connected with the fact that their soul comes from a different place. That's what it says. Moshe Rabbeinu was the most humble person on earth. And any other person, even the most simplest people, Moshe Rabbeinu would consider himself lower than them because he figured that whatever he has is because God gave it to him. God put different people in different situations. Now, it doesn't mean that people have no choice in the matter to improve. And perhaps that was the intention of Rabbi Elazar, to get them to improve. But ultimately, there is a purpose and there is a mission that each person has the way God set them to begin with. And the way they are is their work in their life. And Alter Rebbe will go on to explain that really there are hidden talents that we all have. And we need to find them. We need to reveal them. In other words, not to be satisfied with just the way we are, if we come from the right side or from the left side, as we'll soon explain what does it mean to come from the right and from the left. But we have to incorporate everything. We have to incorporate in us also sides that it's not revealed in us, and we have to look and we have to reveal it in us. Let's see inside what Alter Rebbe explains. Just a minute. Here it is. So the Alter Rebbe begins by quoting a verse from the Tehillim. And the verse says as follows. It says, Morav tuvcha shetefanta l'riyecha v'geimer. How abundant is your goodness, which you have hidden away for those who fear you. Now, this is the part Alter Rebbe quotes, and the verse has the end, which continues, which you have wrought for those who trust in you before man. This verse seems to be contradicting from the beginning to the end. In the beginning, it opens up. There's the abundance that God has hidden away from those who fear you. And then there is the thing, as in Hebrew it says, as you wrote to those who trust in you before men. Before men means it's not hidden, it's in front, it's before them. In the beginning it talks about that is hidden. So that the Alter Rebbe will answer at the end of this letter. And the Alter Rebbe begins by explaining that generally speaking, when we're talking about God serving people, there are two general types of those who serve God. Says the Alter Rebbe, Inei, Mechlal Oivdei Hashem, Yesh Beis, Bechines, Madregos, Chalukes, Mitzad Sheirish Nishmasam Lemailo, Bechines Yamin, Usmail. Among those who serve God by fulfilling the Torah and its mitzvahs, there are two distinct kinds and levels. And this is depending on the root of their souls above. In the categories of the right, the chesed, and the left, the gvura. So the Alter Rebbe is going to explain. There are people in the right, chesed, kindness, means people who are, he begins first with the people on the left, actually. People on the left, the gvura, the severities, is people are more introverted people. People are more calculated. People are more doing things. They want to make sure everything is done right. and everything is organized, and everything is, you're doing exactly what you need to do. People on the right, from the kindness, is more expansiveness. People are very generous, very giving. Now, if I'm going to ask you which one of them is considered a higher level, which one is better, you might think that people who give abundance is a greater level. But the truth is, each one has its own advantages. Think of if you're getting, for example, you're going to college and you're getting a scholarship. Getting a scholarship for college because you worked very, very hard and you made you did amazing, you did had very good grades, worked very hard for it, and you're getting a scholarship. So you're getting something because you deserve it. Now you have sometimes people also get from the government, decide just to give without any measure, without any measure of seeing if the people deserve or not. So you could say here the giving is giving in abundance, but really the one who gets from the scholarship because you really deserve it, it's a whole different type of giving. It's giving because the people deserve it. So you have people who are on this level. People on their neshama comes from the left, from the judgment, restricting. In terms of the effect of the soul's root, this means that the left is characterized by contraction and concealment in one's divine service. And the Alter Rebbe brings example how this has effect on this type of people in different areas of service of God. Generally speaking, there are the three pillars of Torah, Tefillah, and Tzedakah. Prayer, study of Torah, prayer, and acts of goodness and kindness, and giving charity and mitzvahs in general. And in these three areas, people that have an neshama that comes from the left side, they are doing in that way, in more a hidden and concealed way. Thus, with regard to this manner of service, it is written, and to walk covertly with the Lord your God. So this is talking about the mitzvahs. When you do mitzvahs, they don't do in a way of publicizing. They give tzedakah, they give in a hidden way, which is actually one of the virtues. When you give tzedakah in a hidden way, it is very big, special mitzvah. But in the same time, is also a mitzvah to give publicly. There was once, the Rebbe once encouraged a person to give tzedakah. And the person says, yes, I want to give tzedakah, but I want to give it matan b'seiser, hidden giving. No one should know. So the Rebbe says, fine, that's not a problem. Why don't you give a nice amount openly, publicly? So this way people will see that you give and people can learn from you and they will also give. And then, in addition, give in a hidden way. Give more, give 10 times as much, whatever you can, you're giving in a hidden way. So yes, you have to have both. So this is the area of tzedakah. Then also in the area of prayer, these type of people will pray also in a way that no one should see. They would do it privately. In another verse, we find in the secret places weeps my soul. And the same thing is also in the area of study of Torah. It says, and in the words of our sages, whoever engages in Torah study, the study of Torah in secret. So when you have a person from this that has a neshama from this level, this affects also in other areas in his life, that this person becomes more calculated and limited. His acts is very limited. From this attribute derives also the element of contraction and limitation in the service of Hashem. For example, having one's disbursement to charity judged according to one's means. So you see what you're able to afford, and that's what you give. And also when you give with a calculated way, the way the Torah prescribes. And setting one's limit. In the spirit of the teaching, he who gives lavishly should not expend more than 1/5. And when you give lavishly, you give 20%. And we're not going in, of course, we learned in Tanya earlier that this is only normal circumstances, but other circumstances, there is an exception to this rule, but that's not for today. But in any case, we're talking about this type of people from the left side, that everything is calculated, everything is measured. Likewise, as regard to the study of Torah and other commandments. And such a person is satisfied if he discharges his definite duty, which the Torah explicitly obligates him to do. So you do exactly whatever the Torah says. You look in Shulchan Aruch, say what Hashem wants me to do, and that's what I'm doing. Such as setting aside certain times for Torah study and so on. And from it derives also the teaching of our sages of blessed memory, cast awe upon the pupils. Meaning when you're teaching the students, one place we learned, and that says when you go to teach the students, you got to make sure, open up their hearts, their minds by a joke. You started a lecture with a joke, make something, lighten up the things to let them open up. But then at the same time it says also, you got to cast awe. The joke opens up, and then you have to have the discipline, the commitment, and that is the awe that one needs to cast upon the pupils in order for them to be able to receive the teachings. And that also comes from the attribute of Gevura, from the judgment. So this is one type of people, one type of neshama. And by contrast, the characteristics of the right, this is the attribute of chesed and expansiveness, serving God. So doing it with amplitude, without any contraction or concealment whatsoever. You're just doing things in an expansive way. You give expansively, you pray, whatever you do in an expansive way. This is a character, this is a nature that comes from that level in the soul. As it is written, and I will walk about expansively, and without any contraction or limitation whatsoever. Meaning with such an individual, not only the approach to divine service, but also its execution is characterized by a broad sweep. There is no restraint to the spirit of his generosity, whether it be with respect to charity, the study of Torah, or other commandments. He is not satisfied with merely discharging his obligation, but continues to the extent of never saying enough. Now, these then are the two types of divine service that result from the souls being rooted either in the right or at the left. And what is the lesson? What we learn is really that God created us, each one in their way. And so when sometimes you feel in a certain way and you see somebody else acting differently, don't judge them. Don't say, oh, you're not doing the right thing. Realize that that person has a different mission in life. His neshama leads him in a different direction. I would say, just tell us, Lo yisisna sachicha bilvavecha, do not hate your brother in your heart. So one of the tzaddikim once says, Lo yisisna sachicha bilvavecha, do not hate somebody else in your heart, meaning when you see somebody else is not the way you feel things in your heart, don't hate him for that. He has a different heart. He has a different way of thinking. So we got to understand that. And tomorrow the Alter Rebbe is going to explain how, although we are each one created with a certain neshama from a different place, yet we need to work on incorporating both in us. So this is the end of today's share. Have a wonderful day. We shall see you tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem.